The velociraptor in Jurassic Park was not a velociraptor. It was a different animal entirely, scaled up, scaled wrong, and the real one had feathers. Not metaphorically, not partially. Feathers confirmed, documented, attached to its arms like a bird's wings. The thing you picture when you hear the word raptor, 6 feet tall, scaly green, hunting in coordinated packs. That animal does not exist. It never did. What did exist was stranger, smaller in ways that should embarrass Hollywood, and deadlier in ways the movies never figured out. The real velociraptor, what it looked like, and why everything you know about its size came from one novelist who made a deliberate decision to lie. The sickle claw, the thing everyone thinks they understand, and the real science of how it actually killed. And a single fossil sitting in a museum in Mongolia right now that froze a velociraptor mid-hunt, in the exact moment it died. What that fossil tells us is more disturbing than anything in any film. In 1990, Michael Crichton published Jurassic Park ***. He chose the velociraptor as his main predator because the name sounded terrifying. Then he made it roughly 7 times larger than the actual animal. He knew. He did it on purpose. The real velociraptor weighed between **15 and 20 kilograms **. That's lighter than most dogs. It stood half a meter at the hip, knee height on an average adult human. Its total length, including a long stiff tail that made up almost half that measurement, was roughly 2 meters. It was the size of a turkey, ***. When the Jurassic Park film team needed a predator that could menace adult humans, they didn't scale up the velociraptor. They basically built a **Deinonychus, a different, much larger relative, and called it a velociraptor because audiences already knew that name. The swap was never corrected. 30-plus years of films have been selling you a different animal under the wrong label. Now add the feathers. In 1998, a velociraptor forearm was pulled from the ground in Mongolia. It sat in a collection for 9 years before a team from the American Museum of Natural History examined it under the right conditions and found something nobody had documented before on this species, **quill knobs. Tiny bumps along the bone, identical to the structures that anchor flight feathers to a modern bird's arm. In 2007, they published the finding. The velociraptor had wing feathers, long ones running along the forearm just like a hawk. It couldn't fly. Its arms were too short, and its wishbone the wrong shape to generate the lift. But it carried those feathers anyway, probably inherited from an ancestor that could fly, kept them for insulation, for display, possibly for balance during high-speed movement. The animal that Hollywood gave smooth green scales was almost certainly covered in plumage, walking around the Gobi Desert 75 million years ago, looking more like a ferocious ground bird than a reptile. Here's the thing about that image. It's actually more disturbing, not less, once you sit with it. Because a feathered animal that hunts the way a velociraptor hunted is not something evolution has produced since. The sickle claw is the centerpiece of every velociraptor depiction ever made. Curved, retractable, held off the ground when walking so the tip stayed sharp. Every movie makes the same assumption about it, that it was used to slash, to tear open prey, to disembowel something larger and then wait for it to bleed out. In 2001, a BBC documentary team tested this theory directly. They built an artificial velociraptor leg with a real-scale sickle claw and used pork belly to simulate prey tissue. The claw punctured cleanly, easily, with obvious force. But it could not tear. It could not slash open the abdominal wall. The geometry was wrong. The curve worked against lateral movement. That test didn't kill the slashing theory immediately. But in 2011, paleontologist Denver Fowler published a study that did. He proposed what he called the **raptor prey restraint * model, and the evidence behind it reframed the entire animal. Velociraptor, Fowler argued, didn't kill like a predatory mammal. It killed like a **hawk**. Modern hawks and eagles land on prey, grip it with curved talons, and hold it down with their full body weight. Then they eat the animal alive, while it's still struggling because they don't have a clean killing bite. They have a gripping mechanism and patience. The sickle claw matched this model precisely, built for gripping, not slashing, built for pinning a struggling animal to the ground and holding it there. The Velociraptor would leap onto prey, dig that claw in deep to anchor itself, spread its feathered arms for balance and grip, and begin feeding. It's slower than the movie version. It's messier, and it is considerably more disturbing once you understand what the prey animal was experiencing. Now look at the anatomy one more time. The Velociraptor was turkey-sized. Its primary prey, based on fossil association, was Prehistoric, a sheep-sized herbivore with a beak capable of crushing bone and a neck frill that made clean grip access difficult. This wasn't a predator taking down easy targets. This was a small, feathered animal with the nerve to attack something heavier than itself, in a grip-and-endure killing method that required holding on through a brutal fight. And one time, 75 million years ago, it lost that fight, and both animals died together. In 1971, a Polish-Mongolian expedition was working through the Jurassic Formation in the Gobi Desert when they found something that had no precedent in the fossil record. Two animals, locked together, mid-fight, both dead. A velociraptor on its back, with its right sickle claw driven directly into the throat of a Prehistoric asterisk. Its left arm crushed inside the Prehistoric-S beak, bent in a direction arms don't bend. The Prehistoric beak clamped down, front foot pinning the velociraptor's lower body. Neither animal had disengaged. Neither had tried to retreat. The fossil is called the fighting Dinosaurs asterisk. It sits today in the Mongolian Institute of Paleontology, and it is the only direct preserved record of a velociraptor killing, or attempting to kill, in the entire history of paleontology. The leading theory for how they were preserved this way is a sandstorm, sudden and catastrophic, that buried them mid-struggle. The sand came fast enough that neither animal could help itself before it suffocated. They died together, locked in the same positions they'd been fighting in, and the desert held them for 75 million years. Look at what the fossil actually records. The sickle claw is in the throat, consistent with Fowler's hawk grip model. The velociraptor isn't slashing. It has locked in and is holding position. The Prehistoric is fighting back hard enough to break the velociraptor's arm. This wasn't a clean kill. The velociraptor attacked something it had no guarantee of beating, latched on anyway, and paid for it with a broken limb before the sandstorm ended both of them simultaneously. That's not the efficient pack-hunting machine of the films. That's a small, feathered, intensely determined animal engaging in something close to a death grip with an opponent that outweighed it alone, without backup, running a killing method built on grip and endurance rather than speed and coordination. Whatever it was nothing like what Hollywood told you. It was weirder, more committed, and in that Mongolian sand, for one preserved moment, more honest. The velociraptor is more closely related to a asterisk chicken than it is to a Tyrannosaurus rex asterisk. That's not a loose comparison. That's taxonomy. The feathered arms, the wishbone, the quill knobs, the brooding behavior suggested by related species. The velociraptor sits on the same branch of the dinosaur family tree that eventually produced every bird alive today. The animal in those movies was a fiction. Scaled up, scaled wrong, stripped of its feathers, given a social intelligence it probably didn't have, placed in a time period it didn't live in, and named after a different creature than the one actually on screen. The real velociraptor was turkey-sized, feathered, probably nocturnal, almost certainly a solitary hunter, and equipped with a killing method so specific it left physical evidence in the throat of a Prehistoric that died fighting it in a Gobi Desert sandstorm 75 million years ago. Hollywood didn't make it terrifying enough. It just made it terrifying in the wrong ways.